1st, 2020,
So
or
moved.
2022.
So moved.
Executive for November 21st.
21st,
All right,
2022.
there needs to be a change.
We still have to.
Oh, yeah, make sure. I'm sorry.
So moved.
We can't, can we give it a hot minute or second?
I thought somebody already said. I thought it was somebody already said.
Mr. Mikado.
And
I can use my big girl voice.
Miss Gill, choose your big girl voice.
Mr. Mercado. Can we, Usher, we can't hear. We started the meeting. Come on, you got it.
Your bouncer.
I don't think he needed to do anything.
Well, I think after you told him leave, I think.
I think Mrs. O'Donnell's big girl voice is bigger than mine.
Jeez.
I am quite loud. Sorry.
All right,
Thank you.
good.
We need to make a change on this.
Oh.
On the note, on the 21st?
Like to them specifically?
Yes, it
Yeah.
says Tim Bilodeau.
Oh, okay.
We need to change it to Tim Troush.
Good move. Yeah, it's a good move. Let's amend that. Yeah.
So we need to,
Let's amend that. Let's not make up these.
That's something.
the executive
have
minutes.
Oh,
You got everything else?
So it says Tim.
Yes, with that correction.
oh, it's not February.
You have a motion or a second.
I've motion second, as amended, correct?
Yes,
May I have a-
moved.
Second.
There we go.
may I have a roll call, please?
Mary Jo Dentino. Yes. Linda Gilch.
yes.
Peter Lipscomb.
Yes.
Jennifer O'Donnell.
Yes.
Ellen Reese.
Yes.
Victoria Smith. Yes. Elliot Wilson.
Yes.
Marianne Johnson. Yes. Anthony Morris.
Yes. May I have a motion for regular board minutes, November 21st, 2022?
So moved.
Second,
Any questions?
Yeah, Ms. Lipscomb and Ms. I have it, Kathy.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mary Jo Dentino. Yes. Linda Gilch.
yes.
Peter Lipscomb.
Yes.
Jennifer O'Donnell.
Yes.
Ellen Reese.
Yes.
Victoria Smith. Yes. Elliot Wilson.
Yes.
Marianne Johnson. Yes. Anthony Morris.
Yes. We'll move on to public comments for agenda items only. Yeah, Ms.
That was
Fretz,
a tie.
Ms. Fretz, go.
I have a question on which 26B. I have three questions. I'm wondering why did the district select this particular conference to send kind of our certified.
Good question. Good evening, Mr. President.
See, I have the same.
Dr. Martin still here?
Me.
Yes, Rebecca.
Dr. Martin.
Dr. Martin, the professional development that we're attempting, and I have to say the word attempting to send multiple people to,
Yeah,
why was that selected?
actually, it's really kind of mandated because we are required by law to provide inclusion for all of our students. And New Jersey is one of the, I think, of all the entire country, we're one of the worst states in the country. And our district was cited previously for not including enough students in the gen ed setting. So the members who are identified are cost saving members who are responsible for planning education programs for special students. It's at Brown University. They do it every year. And this is a great opportunity for us to participate in all of the activities and then bring that information back to our daily practice.
Then that brings me to my second question, which is, what the year or the beverage selected program know about the physical speed and
I'm sorry,
What was that?
What they know.
I'm sorry, you know, the co-founders and the directors of this inclusion institute.
Yes.
Can I just request, Mrs., I'm sorry, I cannot hear. Can you kind of face forward and speak? And Dr. Martin, can you just step forward somewhat so we can all hear that we have this thing happening over here? I'm having a hard time hearing, and so I know the microphones don't hear as well. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Okay, I'm asking the board, and I'm asking whoever selected program. What they can tell me about, or what they can tell all of us, I've already researched it, about Lisa Kaczynski and Tina Nielsen. Who are they? They are the co-founders of the Inclusion Institute, and they are also the director of it. So their beliefs, their teachings, their ideology, their whatever, it filters into what it's about. And I guess why I'm asking is because I believe, given the staff that's going to go to it, that it was about special ed. However, if you research people, or whoever research these people, you would find out that it's more than, it's not necessarily only about special ed, because they both have Twitter accounts, they both have other websites, and I guess the thing that disturbed me the most about them was not inclusion of special ed children, not inclusion of all children, but were some of the examples that they gave to educators to bring back to their schools, and to the wording they wanted them to use in elementary and middle schools. Most of their programs in the past are geared to college level and high school. But now I guess they want to get into middle school and elementary, and that's where I have my concern. So these are just 3 examples, but if anybody wants to go on their website or wants to go on Twitter and see how they interact with questions from the overall general public in all different states, by all means, go right ahead, because that's what I did. And one of the things that bothered me, I guess, I'll be honest and say, they gave examples of what they want these educators to go back to their districts and change wording and teach kids. And one of them was this. If you're going to tell your kids in class, go home and tell your mom and dad. They don't want you to do that anymore. They want you to take away the words mom and dad and tell your children in class, go tell whoever is at your home. So do away with mom and dad and make it whoever is at your home. You don't tell your class in the morning, good morning, boys and girls. Tell them good morning, everyone. Do not, don't say we have a school teacher and kids are, not listening. Sit down, guys. Instead of guys, they want you to say, I do sit down, everyone. So in other words, they want to take away things like mom and dad, boys and girls, and those that didn't sound to me like
That's inclusive language. That's inclusive language.
So they do have a Twitter account, they have a lot of accounts, they've been in the organization since 2013. And if you just follow through a lot of things that they say, they say that Ukraine has they use, but I don't have words for them. A defect that makes all of us immediately go to exclusion instead of inclusion.
You're right.
So we need to redesign our brains, and our educators need to go back to their districts and redesign, use these ideas that they have with younger children. When you start, these are redesigning the brain. So I'm very pro special ed. I'm very pro inclusion of special ed. I'd like to see more autistic children being included and teaching our general ed population more about how to include them and be friends with them. I'm into that. But this is just a concern of mine, because as I research, I'm always interested in when you pick a workshop, who's selling it to you? What made you pick it? I was in sales for 25 years, and so when I'm getting big words like inclusion and it sounds good. It really asking you to promote that. That's all I'm asking.
Dr. Martin,
Here's the answer, right? First of all, it's great. It's not addressing anything that you're asking. Topics are meeting the inclusive mandate, reviewing and selecting materials, steering your school towards success, effective co-teaching practices and the role of the educational leaders, brain states and connections in the application to the academic and social emotional learning process, action possibilities for increasing emergent bilinguals or ELLs, access to content and language in general education classrooms, intersection pedagogy, taking an intersectional approach to inclusive education, more than a sum of its parts, effective co-teaching in middle and high school STEM classrooms, shifting perspectives towards neurodiversity paradigm, opening up the curriculum, high quality children's literature and inclusive social studies education, school leaders chat, reflecting on school-wide shift to implementing inclusive education, inclusive and accessible health education, pursuing powerful partnerships, strategies for success in English language arts and social studies co-taught classrooms, rethinking assistive technology in a one-to-one technology classroom, instruction on diversity and inclusion in the elementary curriculum, and providing supportive equitable grading and feedback in middle and high school classrooms.
Is that everything?
Does not.
Yeah.
Is that all? Thanks. All for free.
Spread it out and divide and conquer, bring the information back and take what's applicable to our practice. Our responsibility as case managers and special ed is to take the district approved curriculum and instruction materials and make sure that all students have a level playing field and they're provided with the supports and resources that they need to be successful in the classroom. As far as anyone else's personal, their platform, we can't get involved in that. We strictly look at data and we look at effective practices and we use those strategies to best support our students. That's it.
Thank you, Dr. Martin. Thank you, Ms. Fred.
Well, while we're on the topic, not to belabor it, Dr. Martin, I applaud you for trying to send all of your staff to this training.
It's not all,
Well,
it's
most,
a small number,
but
half the team.
I wanted to bring to the board's attention that if the board approves it this evening, it still needs to go to the Camden County Board of Education. The executive superintendent does have the right to hold training to 5 people or less. We're hopeful that because there's no cost involved and the merits of the program that the county superintendent will allow Dr. Martin to be there with her staff. So I just wanted to let everyone know that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Phillips?
Yeah, Chip Phillips, but no section. In letter M on 26. Asking for a plan. Is this days of employment consecutive or not consecutive?
I would say no.
The substitute.
I think it's not, it's just total days.
6.6.
Mr. Mercado?
26M.
What was the question, Jim?
Will the days of employment be consecutive or not consecutive?
Total days.
Like, do they have to be 30 days consecutive?
No, no, I think you have to acquire. You have to acquire.
If it stops without
Yes,
pay,
right here.
Yeah,
would they still qualify for this plan?
No, or as if they were out sick, so you have to work, well, we have 1 through 30, you're looking at M, right? Okay, on the agenda.
they have to report
So
30
they work
days.
28 days and they're sick, the 29th day they're supposed to work, no, they're still at 28. They come back to work and it's 29,
That's what I'm.
or 30.
Yes.
Okay?
A friend asked me to ask.
Yeah. All right,
So it's not consecutive, the work is
you have to actually report
30 days.
30 days in a classroom as a sub to earn the 30 days.
This is an HR specific, right? You know that, right?
Yeah.
I got it. Is this Teresa Bond going to be doing this? She's the best people.
She's very good.
She will
She's
be
very good. She's very good.
confident in their ability, yes.
She's very, but, so the answer is not consecutive,
No.
like as
Days
long
work.
as you're employed
Right.
that many days.
Yeah, it stops, but you don't start over.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Any other comments on agenda items only? I see none. We'll move on to report of solicitor, Mr.
Sure.
Long.
First, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Second, it's the last meeting for Tori and Elliot. I want to thank you for your service the last 3 years. Really enjoyed working with the two of you and getting to know you, and for all your contributions to the district. Otherwise, my items were discussed in executive session. I have nothing further at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Long. Move on to report of the superintendent, Mr. Bilden.
Thank you, Mr. Marks. I would like to, under discussion items, I would first like to say that earlier this evening, when we were going into an executive, we inadvertently stated there would be 4 items discussed. There were actually 5 items discussed. I wanted to correct the minutes. Number 2, I wanted to welcome back one of our 2 interim business officials. It's kind of like a cold when Kathy Forsythe shows up. You never quite can get rid of, but Kathy, it's been great to work with you again, along with Jean Grubb. So we're glad you're here tonight. Took time to be our board secretary. So hang in there. I'll continue to bribe you with coffee and whatnot.
You haven't yet.
I'm waiting to see your first draft of minutes.
You tell him, Kathy.
Got him. No one heard the response, did it? And finally, for Tori Smith and for Elliot Wilson, thank you for your service to the board and to the Gloucester Township community. Best of luck to both of you in all your future endeavors. And that's all I have under discussion items, Mr. Marks. I would like to have a consent resolution for item 6.2A through 6.6, darn it, and can I go backwards one? I do have a correction, Mr. Marks.
Right.
Under 6.6I. Under leaves of absences, there is a typo. 6.6I. Sorry. I got a crooked finger, J. 6.6I is fine. 6.6J. Where it states. Second row from the bottom on the chart, employee 4632. If you go all the way to the right. That actually should be 12/20 of 22, not a leave of absence, not following year. Okay, so 12/20/22, not 12/20/23. So I will restate. Can I have a consent resolution for 6.2A through 6.6 MM as amended, please?
So moved as amended.
Second.
Wilson. I don't know who's second.
Oh,
No.
any questions?
I do. I just want to ask, do we on 6.6 personnel, are all the schools staffed with full-time nurses?
Full-time nurses?
Yes.
Staff?
They're all
all-
staffed with full,
Yes.
okay. Thank you.
Full-time nurses.
Right, right. I saw that one. I saw the one. I just want to make sure that they're all staffed with full-time nurses. Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I have a odd request. Yeah. So my
Let's see where this is
agenda, I take a lot of notes on my agenda. And unfortunately, on these areas, there's no room to write. Can we just leave space on the 2 sections where I take lots of notes? That'd be nice. So instead of all this being squashed together, can we just like leave room at the top of the bottom where the vote tally is?
You can
On
bring
the
a
6th,
notebook.
stop it.
Just saying.
It's too heavy. The 6th section and the 7th and the, please, just some extra room on the
So
agenda.
Mrs. O'Donnell, let me see.
No, I will not bring a red
Let me
book.
see if I have this
Mine's
correct.
so it's not red.
See if I have this correct.
Get an iPad.
Mr. Wilson,
No.
Mr. Wilson was responsible for the agendas going out on Wednesdays. Now we're going to have special paper to expand the margins on the left and right for the O'Donnells. I just want to make sure we're correct here.
Just the next page. That's all.
So we get to hear that ends the page, a page break after the.
So just some room somewhere.
So, Mr. O'Donnell, how many times would you like to say?
She reached out.
One eject would be fine.
We're gonna take that under advisement.
Oh. It was a spicy one. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Can I just have clarification on something that was on here that we, regarding a seatbelt lock issue? Can I have clarification on what that was?
Oh. Wasn't that another month?
What was the item?
Oh, it's under 7. Never mind. I'll ask it under 7.
So you were early, Mrs. Gilch?
Yes, I was.
Okay,
Okay, maybe it's not what I was thinking.
so we're back to Mr. Marks.
Sorry, Mr. Marks.
No problem. It's the last meeting.
And she gives me hell.
Do I have any other questions? May I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Giudicino?
Yes.
Linda Gilch?
Yes.
Leah Lipscomb?
Yes.
Jennifer O'Donnell?
Yes.
Ellen Reese?
Yes.
Gloria Smith?
Yes.
Elliot Wilson?
Yep.
Marion Johnson?
Yes.
Anthony Marks?
Yes. We'll move on to report of the business administrator. Mrs. Forsythe.
Like a motion to approve 7.1 to 7.67. The business administrator report.
So moved.
Second. Johnson Wilson. Johnson, then Wilson.
Do I have any questions?
Yes, Mr. Marks.
Sorry. I
Scrolling
don't
for
remember
time,
that.
Anthony.
I'm trying to find the check number that it's under. If somebody could just give me clarification of the seatbelt lock issue.
It's on the Parker McKay.
Yes, but I don't know what the check,
Dr. Martin.
it's gotta be a check
No, no,
number.
no,
that-
no.
Well,
That's,
I would rather, wait, was it an attorney itemized bill list?
yeah.
Yes.
I'd rather it not be answered in this forum, but it can be answered.
In general terms?
No, I'm saying that rather than it being answered on the floor, if it's an item on an attorney bill list,
All right.
I'm not
Would you
sure
like me to
exactly
research
what
and
it
get back to the
is.
board?
Yes, if you don't mind.
Okay. Would that be adequate, Mrs. Gilch?
Yeah.
That we can research it and.
Sure.
Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. Do I have any other questions?
Yes, I have two. Mr. Bilodeau, I sent you an email regarding the itemized Benoni invoice.
Yes.
And it says review bonding requirements. And you said it isn't referenced to money, but it describes the process of converting a bid performance bond into a material bond. My question is, shouldn't that be general knowledge for this vendor on how to convert a bid performance bond to a maintenance bond? Is that not something that they do all the time? Or is this out of the ordinary?
But it's in the check. I don't understand.
Well, what that essentially is to protect the board's interest for like, it's like a security for 2 years.
No, I think
And
she.
it's
you
common
know what it
knowledge.
is, but
You
Common-
explained.
It's common knowledge, yes, but I believe they fill it out and complete it on behalf of the board during final paperwork.
Thank you.
Okay.
Never mind, I have someone that in the know.
Thank you, Tori.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, Tori.
I have another question. Check number 128190. I'll wait till you're done, Mr. Bilodeau. Check number 128190 has to do with the catalytic converters. Are we putting a claim in to insurance for that?
We have, yes.
Okay, cool. Do you know that there are cages that you can have installed on catalytic converters that make them horrible to try to cut off? And is that something we'd be willing to look at?
Yes, I give you credit for that commentary, Mrs. O'Donnell. The mechanics are aware that the catalytic converter shields,
Mhm.
and in some cases, they are a cabling system. That if you try to put a sawzall, like if you ever try to cut a metal cable, it is difficult to cut through cable.
Mhm.
So they're looking at different scenarios, but I think the difficult challenge for this district or any owner of a large vehicle like a school bus is a catalytic converter on what the thieves went after were small vans, which would have automobile catalytic converters. The F-250 maintenance vehicles are average size catalytic converters that can be cut easily. A catalytic converter on a school bus is monstrous, and so they're trying to find out if there is such a
Got it.
product on the market. But for those vehicles that we own and we can put a shield in, we are going to move forward and do that.
Okay, perfect.
So
Okay, I think-
How long did months out of service not took place? How quickly did our shock respond?
I am of the impression that started, we were robbed on both Monday and Tuesday. And I believe by the ensuing Monday, all the vehicles except for one maintenance vehicle were back on the road.
Good job by that staff.
Yeah, and we were able to do that, as you said, Mr. Marks, with our own mechanics. The
Yeah.
difficulty is not putting a catalytic converter on, it's finding a catalytic converter. And the reference that Mrs. O'Donnell won, one of those was $2,500. So it's and they probably got $30 for it.
Ms. O'Donnell, you have another question?
Yeah, again, with the Pannoni bill. I'm pretty sure it was Pannoni, page 10 of 17 of the itemized bills. There is like $30,000 in charges regarding the chiller at Loring Fleming. So when I look at the bill, like some of those go back to February. Why aren't we billed? We pay them every month. Why would they hold on to something for one project and then bill us all at once for that?
I don't know the answer to that tonight.
30 grand. So in my 10 minutes, by the time I got my computer, I kind of went through other invoices that we've received, kind of looking to see if we've been billed for it before. You guys check that to make sure it wasn't on a bill in February or March?
We do.
Okay,
We
All
do.
right.
I gotta have a spreadsheet of
you do.
open jobs. Well, I did.
Okay,
So
I appreciate that.
Any other questions?
I just wanted to follow up on a request before I vote on the bill list. Again, there's rather large sums of money going out for HVAC. I know I had asked previously if we could have personnel committee look at the salary that's going to be offered for that. So I just want to make sure it stays on radar.
Thank you. Any other questions? May I have a roll call, please?
Mary Jo Dentino,
Yes.
Linda Gilch,
No on check 128216. Yes on the balance.
I didn't hear that, 829.
128216.
I have a cap.
That's the
Yes.
problem.
Lipscomb,
Yes.
Dan O'Donnell,
I will abstain on check number 128078. I am a no on 128171. 128220. And 128271. And the rest is yes.
Ellen Reese,
Yes.
Dory Smith,
Yes.
Elliot Wilson,
I'm gonna abstain on 128077. Yes, on the balance.
yes on everything else. Okay. Marianne Johnson,
Abstain on 128071. No on 128271. Yes on the balance.
Anthony Marks,
Yes. Do we have any old business, Ms. Realdo?
I did, Mr. Marsh, I did inform the board, I believe last month about the Narcan boxes that would be going into the school. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so, those are well underway. They will be finished before this week's end. I did, hold off on giving the maintenance man the Narcan. I asked our head nurse, Tara Walter, to distribute it to the nurses so that it was just secure as it was put into the boxes. And they, for the most part, are right next to our defibrillators. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you. New business, Mr. Bilda.
Not at this time.
Thank you. I'll open up the public comments. Mrs. Hendry, hold on. Congratulations on your son getting.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right.
It's my brother didn't care. My brother just got Hunter had it. It's like, nah. But Hunter, he gets it. I know last week we put a pin on the playground. Are you revisiting on that playground for that school?
Good evening, Ms. Hendry.
Hi.
Hi. I contacted the the James W. Lilly School Administration. And I spoke to Mr. Ferguson. And I tried to fairly explain to Mr. Ferguson the board's concerns relative to playground installation. And asked that both the administrators speak to the parent that was going offering the donation. I have initial reports back that that conversation went well, and that they did see some of the concerns voiced, from the board through me to administration. I believe they're revisiting some things for the students that are still, I would say, play yard oriented, but maybe backing away from the playground itself.
Like the structure.
The structure itself.
Okay, and the other thing is it by chance?
But I don't have the final word on that yet.
Understood. These checks, could this be also uploaded for the public to take a peek at? Because the agenda is there, but unless if you come early, you wouldn't see the financials. And so I think it's important for the public to have access to that, being that we have it here printed. Just so in the event that anybody has questions about it.
Absolutely. We'll address that.
And other small, if Santa can bring some microphones for everybody, because sometimes you can't hear them on the live stream. Okay.
Thank you.
I love it.
Any other comments? I see none. We'll move on to board member comments.
I have one.
Yes.
Well, first off, I just want to say that words cannot explain or express how grateful I am to have served this board for the past 3 years. I've learned something unique from each and every one of my fellow board members, and I plan to take that into my future endeavors. I want to thank all of the administration, teachers, parents, and most importantly, the students for being the reason and the motivation of why we're here today. And then I also wanted to wish everyone a very merry, happy, safe, and healthy holiday and happy new year. So thank you.
Thank you, Troy. Any other comments?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I may never have this opportunity again to address this community, which for some I'm sure is seen as an early holiday present. So please indulge me one more time. In the last 3 years serving on this board have been illuminating for me. I've sat on and led strategic governance boards, advocacy boards, public boards, and nonprofits board. This was my first time ever elected to a board overseeing public policy. As a lifelong student and product of public schools, it's been an honor to serve my neighbors in this capacity. Selfishly, as I've worked to create a perpetually improving education system in the school district, I've been rewarded by my time here with an education of my own. I've learned so much about myself, what I value, and where I can advocate for change. I only regret my failure in convincing others to prioritize the same. I'd like to thank all my fellow board members, whether we agree on all things, no things, or some things in between. I take away lessons from each of you for which I am grateful. And I'd like to thank the GTPS administrative team for listening to my concerns and acting where possible during my time on the board. It's difficult to build momentum as your strategic body changes annually. Thus, the task falls to you to create a vision and convince them and the public of its shared value. Thank you to the entirety of the GTPS staff. To me, every one of you is an educator, whether you teach in the classroom or not. I've witnessed you take on so much change in 3 years, and I am always amazed at the dedication you show. Remember to take time to care for yourselves as well. And finally, I'd like to thank my neighbors in the Gloucester Township public for entrusting me 3 years ago to participate in this work. I took the time you gave me to raise awareness of an addressable disparity in student experience and advocate for a long-term strategic vision for our school district. Pandemic or not, that effort was never going to be completed in 3 years. And so I wish a great success to those on future boards who continue that work. And with that, on behalf of my husband, Tom, my daughters, Alice, Catherine, and Micah, I wish everybody a wonderful holiday season filled with warmth and joy.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Yes, please. I would just like to wish everyone the happiest of holidays and a very successful, productive new year. I'd also be remiss if I didn't say I thoroughly enjoyed the 4th grade holiday show at Union Valley last week. And thank you to Elliot and to Tori for your years of service. That's all. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I would like to wish everyone a very happy holiday and a very happy new year. And the Union Valley concert was really good. She puts on a wonderful show. And Tori and Elliot, thank you. I didn't have a chance to work with you long, but I did come to meetings and saw you, so thank you for your service.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Ditto what everybody said, yeah.
No other comments? I have one. So I'm going to speak a little bit from the heart since it's my last meeting as being president. Back in January, I got the opportunity to be the president of this board, and it has been nothing but an honor and a pleasure. Every time I needed help with something, I had multiple board members step up and help me. Didn't ask any questions, asked what I needed. That speaks volumes to me. I highly appreciate that. I do have a challenge moving into January. We have really done wonderful things with this board, and I hope we can keep the momentum going. So I do challenge this entire board and the newcomers in January. Let's keep the momentum on what we have started and keep the boat rolling. I would also like to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Happy holidays, everybody. Thank you.
It's everyone.
Just fix it. Just fix it.
Right.